Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. This is Rising 11 and we're going to look back at the GMF match against Team Goal Lionesses in the MYSL Division 1. Yes, that's right. Brilliant match. Unlike some other previous matches where it's been kind of blood and thunder football. Brilliant football, by the way. I really enjoyed watching those games. But the girls play really good football, and it was another cracking game. Fair play to the girls. They came out on top. They nicked it in the final few minutes, and we will go into the match in a minute. But something I just would like to bring up before we actually delve into the game. I was listening to It's Only Kids podcast, and they had an interview, and it was in regards to kind of male masculinity in football. What I'd love to ask you, good people out there, anyone who does watch this, you can drop a comment on this. This is something that I found very difficult to find the balance between whenever it comes to watching my boys play and how what I had to go through as a kid. I can't imagine anyone I know is actually going to watch this and see this, but when I played, my dad was involved with my football, and he was sometimes very brutal with me in terms of how he always felt that he had to give me, put extra pressure on me, and he felt he had to sometimes give me a bit of a hard time, and he felt that it would kind of enhance my character, and that it would also show to the other players that there was no favoritism, because that was something that he was concerned about. He didn't want his son getting, preferential treatment of sorts over some of the other players that played in the team. Another young goalkeeper. I was a goalkeeper, and there was another young goalkeeper at the same time as me. Me and him always battled it out, and sometimes he got the better of me, and sometimes I got the better of him. And who was the better goalkeeper? I always thought I was better. He always thought he was better than me. I think we were both good in our own right. I think there were certain things he was much better at than me, and there were some things I was maybe slightly better at than him. But we had a good battle, kept us on our toes. But my dad always decided, I suppose in his mind, he just wanted to, favoritism wasn't going to be a thing, and he wasn't going to have those lads sort of look at him and go, oh, why is your son getting picked whenever maybe there was someone else who should have been in goal at that particular time. But it was really hard for me. It was really difficult at times. I had some shite games. My God, I can remember a couple of games where I let in some goals that absolutely, how anyone would let them in, I don't know, dribblers through the legs and stuff like that. Absolutely brutal. And my dad would give me a hard time about it, and I probably didn't have the character to not stand up to him, but I didn't have the character to say anything back. And I'm not even sure if it actually helped me develop in a certain way. I think certain elements definitely helped my character, but there were certain things that I'm not so sure about. But coming back to my two boys and their progression through the whole footballing system, I have found that when I started making these, I was shouting at them quite a bit. There was a lot of sort of tears in the car. I didn't deal with some stuff very well. I didn't give them the opportunity to say how they were feeling. I actually don't know. I'm still trying to process this. I'm trying to figure a way how to get through this. And It's Only Kids Football podcast is brilliant. They've had some brilliant people on. There's some cracking interviews. I recommend it highly to go and check it out. I've picked up a few little tips from things I've learned from. Definitely improved. Long way to go. Definitely not there yet. But yeah, I just, male masculinity in the game. Where is it? How do we convey our messages to our kids that they're allowed to be vulnerable, but they also have to be strong, because it's a contact sport. It's quite physical. The older you get, the more difficult it becomes. And how do we help them progress through their sort of journey, and help them along the way by giving them some balance between, sometimes they get hit. I don't mean hit physically, but I mean there's a tackle goes in and they get a bit of a knock. Helicopter parents would run over and check their kids are okay. The opposite of that would be you just stand back and tell them to hell with it, get up and get on with it. It's part of the game. I've done both. I've gone over and checked, and I've also sort of looked at them and said, it's a fair tackle. You've just unfortunately got the brunt of the aftermath. Got to pick yourself and go. And my boys don't play in a league that's very dirty. They play in a league that's very competitive and very strong. The MYSL Division 1 has some very good footballers, but they're both good footballers and they're strong. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of the game. I think you just have to get on with it. But I haven't figured out how to help my boys through this, how to help convey that message to them about how you just figure it out, how you just go, right, sometimes you're going to get hit. If you're a skillful player, especially if you're going to throw in a trick, you're going to beat someone, you're going to take a whack from time to time. And it's not, as I said, it's just a late challenge. These kids we were playing against, they're not dirty in any respect. They're just competitive, and they just want to give their all in the match. And sometimes that'll lead to a player getting a bit of a a whack from time to time, and said part and parcel of the game, just something you've got to manage. So I'm struggling at the minute because I don't. I'm trying to take a bit of a backseat. I'm trying to do less analysing of the games aftermath. In the car, I've stopped maybe talking to the boys on the way home. If they want to talk, I'll let them do the talking. And otherwise, in the past, it's been a bit of a I don't know how you describe it. Yeah, a bit of me maybe going in a bit too hard on them, and forgetting their age, because they're 9 or 8 last year. I've definitely got better from last year. I think last year there was quite a few moments where I maybe went over the top over stuff that there was no need to. My wife, for a play, she took the other hand and was quite sort of sympathetic and is able to give the lads a bit of comfort, where I wasn't. But I'd love to know how you guys sort of manage this. Anyone who's kind of watching this, get your comments in below. How do you deal with it? What do you think the right answer is? Can you strike a balance? I suppose is the question I'm asking. I don't know if you can. As I said, I've tried to not do what my dad's done, but then I've fallen into the trap of actually doing it. Maybe not as much as what my dad did it. And I have a brilliant relationship with my dad. I don't think in that respect it did damage. He is someone I still have a lot of a unbelievable bond with, and he's still a massive part of my football journey with my boys. I'm always talking to him after the matches. He's always curious how they're getting on. So it didn't knock that, but it maybe knocked a little bit of my confidence at the time, because I remember, as I said, walking away from games thinking I can't do this. And I mean, I never made it at any level. I played a little bit of youth football at a decent level back in Northern Ireland, but not for very long. So I definitely wouldn't say I've had a career in it. I've enjoyed it and played it for fun. But I'd love to know what you good people out there think about this finding a balance, and what's the best way to deal with kids. If anybody's got any tips, please drop them in the comments below. Okay, enough of me waffling on about that. Let's jump into the match review. And it was a game of two halves, really. First half was quite stagnant in some ways. Good football played, few opportunities were made, but neither side really grasped the ball by the horns. And I think we came in nil at half time. Girls play good football. That's how they always do. They move the ball well, and they're brilliant at going down the wings. Right wing, especially a couple of times in the first half. Now, I've noticed this before. I've mentioned it in previous reviews against the girls. They love to go down. We play maybe through the middle more. The girls love to come down the wing and whip it across. As always, stood them up really well. I think in the first half they hit the post with a cracking with a ball came across the box, and one of their, I think the young striker hit the inside of the post, and the ball came back out. I think that was their best chance of that of the half. And then second half, yes, all the goals came. We went one down. Girls scored a very good goal, and then it was a good goal. Free kick, whipped in. We didn't pull a wall up. The ref asked, did we want a wall? We said no. One of the girls struck a very strong shot, took 2 deflections, went into our net. Our boys had a bit of a conflab trying to figure out who should have been responsible for it. And the way I look at it was, responsibility was on everyone. There was no wall went up. Our goalkeeper Conla, who's my son, isn't a regular goalkeeper. Helps out from time to time whenever Theo can't make it. The ball beat him, went past him. But I said, took 2 deflections, took 1 deflection off Ronan, his twin brother, took another deflection off Archie, and I think it was the second deflection that took it into the back of the net. And fair play, it was, the young girl took a really strong free kick, deserved the goal. Then we managed to get 1-1. Archie, Ronan took a corner, had to figure out, he had to work hard to get it back. Bradley got a flick on, Ronan got a flick into Archie's direction. It was really good flick on, and Archie buried it. 1-1, we're back in it. then we go and progress and get the second goal. Dan makes a bit of a run, she takes a shot, goalkeeper makes an excellent save, and the young girl, I think her name's Izzy, once again, we played her against several times, brilliant young goalkeeper, always very difficult for us to beat, and she had another outstanding game, and we managed to get the rebound on this. Archie picked it up, went past one, smashed it in, brilliant finish, 2-1, and the boys are flying at this particular stage, playing good football. Ronan and Archie started to control a lot of stuff. They played on the right side, they played a lot of 1-2s, and they played a lot of possession football. Ronan feeding into Archie, getting on his bike, and away he goes. And as I said, really delighted. I was delighted with Ronan's work ethic. It was fantastic, chasing the ball back, clearing it, just picking the ball up on the half turn. Ronan loves a nutmeg. He's probably got 3 or 4 in this particular match. I think I've got 2 in the video. But yeah, he loves a nutmeg, and he always finds a way to get it through someone's legs and open up either space for himself or play a really nice pass through. But for me, it wasn't so much is those little moments, is his work rate up and down the pitch, never stopped running, gave everything to the cause, fought for every ball, and was unlucky to not get on the score sheet. Had a couple of cracks at goal, just unfortunately couldn't pick up a goal. But the girls got back into the match 2-2. They scored a very I'm trying to think, what was their second goal like? The young girl cuts in from the right wing. Our players were shouting about pressing. She just zipped in, brilliant bit of skill, went past, I think it was Braden, and cut the ball back into the bottom corner. Conor had no chance. Absolutely brilliant finish. And then the third goal actually is a little bit of controversy to it. I didn't realize it at the time. From kick-ins, you're not allowed to put the ball over head height. One of the girls pinged it. Now it's a brilliant pass, pings it in. The other girl gets it on the half volley and smashes it past Conla. Brilliant finish. Referee didn't pick up on it, and you've got to play to the whistle. We didn't defend. There was no one on the back post picking up, and the finish is absolutely spot on. She just pings it in and scores a great goal. And the girls win it. I think that was pretty much the last. There was only about a minute or 2 left. And if the game had been a draw, it might have been a fair result. On reflection, as I said, we had chances. Harris had a good chance made by Archie again that he just couldn't get his toe on the end of, but we just couldn't get the victory. Boys are, that's 2 defeats in a row. We've been on a brilliant run of maybe 6 in a row, I think, of wins, then 2 defeats, and it's good in the respect that the lads have played different styles of teams, different types of football, and we've coped well with those different styles of football. It's a journey. The boys are still learning. They're still trying to come to terms with, playing different kids at different ages, different sizes, because the girls are really tall in our team. We've got a few kind of shorter players and a few lads who maybe haven't physically kind of grown out. And I talk about Conlan and Ronan in particular. They're still quite small and they're still trying to feel their way through the system. And they sometimes have to work really hard to keep themselves on the ball. Wasn't to be. Fair play to the girls, and Martin, who does a brilliant job with them. Brilliant coach, like this, shout him out. He does a wonderful job with them, and that's pretty much where we are with the review of the game. We play Stockport Dynamo Yellows next. That'll be another cracking game. Philly and the boys will be up for that on Sunday. Yes, we did beat them in the previous game, but I tell you what, it was a really tight affair, and I think it'll be another difficult match. I'd love to see the boys get back to winning ways. And yeah, I suppose that's where we are with it all now. Really, moving forward, we've got 2 more games between now and the end of the league season, and I think the cup will start in January sometime. We'll start into cup matches again. But delighted to be talking about this kind of stuff. If you've got any comments on the game, please drop them in below. If you've got any comments on anything about the male masculinity side of football and how we kind of we deal with it, because I'm still struggling and I find it very difficult at times to manage my own feelings about it, because that's just it's not easy. But anybody who has any comments, stick them in below. Thanks very much for joining me, and I shall leave it there, and we'll see you after the next match.